Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rahah Kwadash, double honors to the apostles and elders of great millstone who have taught us this truth and ruled well. Peace and salutations to the chosen and elect. And today, I am Maria Zabak from the GMS Dallas camp. I want to get into this lesson, a little quick lesson on Luke chapter 16, the first three verses, 19 through 21, the parable about the rich man, and it's mostly mainly dealing with Esau and other nations, Esau and Jacob, pretty much. All right. You want to go ahead and get into Luke 16, verse 19, and it reads, "There was a certain rich man, which was clothed in purple and fine linen, and fared sumptuously every day." And that's going into Esau, Edom, and this here is, he lived in luxury in the fullness of the earth, which is Job 9 and 24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. And also in Genesis 27, I believe, chapter 27, where Esau received his blessing, living off the fatness of the earth, and he would be, using the sword to live off the fatness of the earth. And that sword, we understand, is his power, his military, which would be the gun, the ability, to rule the earth. All right. Let's go ahead and get verse 2. In verse 2, and it reads, "And desiring to be fed with the crumbs which fell from the rich man's table." And that's going into, again, Esau, Edom, Salakia, verse 20. "And there was a certain beggar named Lazarus, which was laid at his gates, full of sores." And we understand that's Jacob right there, which is that beggar named Lazarus, which was laid at his gates, full of sores. We're in captivity, and we at his mercy, because we did break the law, statutes, and commandments. That's part of our punishment. And, Esau, he took it not a little bit too far, he took it too far. But in this kingdom, he have the Israelites, at the bottom, we're the worst when it comes to everything. And that's due to the curses as well, as it's described, we would be serving other idols. We'll be coming to our end for the want of all things, food, clothing, and shelter, all those things. So this is just, showing you the state of Jacob, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. And that's what this verse here is describing in verse 20. So you 12 tribes of Israel, that's who it's talking about. You're Lazarus in verse 20. In verse 21, and it reads, "And desiring to be fed with the crumbs which fell from the rich man's table." And that's the condition that Jake is in today. You so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, who are the 12 tribes of Israel. This is us here in that condition. And let me get a precept real quick. Let's get that in Proverbs. Let me grab that real quick. Proverbs chapter 23, verse 1. And it reads, "When thou sittest to eat with a ruler, consider diligently what is to before thee," meaning that use wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, have a spiritual discernment, and understand that, as in Ephesians, in the book of Ephesians, they talk about, wickedness in high places. And this is a prime good example of it. It says, when thou sittest to eat with the ruler, consider diligently what is to before thee, and put a knife to thy throat, if thou be a man given to appetite. Meaning that if you, bow down to, if you take that MOTB, or if you try to make a living in this life, trying to be an actor or whatever, there are consequences that come with that. A lot of them have to sign contracts, or you got to put on a dress, or you got to do something, sodomy like, and those type of things. So, and that's what the scripture's saying, put a knife to your throat and go and slit your throat, because that's what you're actually doing. In verse 3, it says, be not desirous of his dainties, for they are deceitful meat. And we understand that. Matter of fact, let's get that in Luke chapter 9 real quick. Let's get that precept. This is Luke chapter 9 and verse 24. And it reads, for whosoever try to save his life shall lose it, but whosoever will lose his life for my sake, the same shall save it. And going back to Proverbs, that's what this scripture is going into. You might as well put a knife to your neck if you accept this man his dainties, because that's pretty much what he's doing, is deceiving you. You're going to have to denounce something, your power. You're going to have to say the elites or those small hats or the true Israelites, which is false. Let's go back to that Proverbs again. Proverbs 23. And then it says, and put a knife to thy throat. This is verse 2. And if thou be a man given to appetite, be not desirous of his dainties, for they are deceitful meat. And that's what this devil does, Esau, Edom. That's how he when it comes towards our people, whether you, get your degree, your promise, different things. And when you get that degree, you can't pay it back. He understands that you don't make enough money in your lifetime to pay it back while you're trying to make a living. These are the crumbs that he's giving our people. You so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. I have another precept. And then also, let's go back to that Luke. All right. Luke 16. Let's get that back in 21. And it reads, Luke 16:21, and desiring to be fed with the crumbs which fell from the rich man's table. Verse, when we understand that's Esau oppressions and his unrighteous decrees. Verse, reading on, moreover, the dogs came and licked his sores. And that's going into the other nations, how they, joining with Esau, Edom, to keep us down, because they understand our power. And let's get a precept to that, how these nations are in cahoot. Matter of fact, let's go to Proverbs. And we don't have to get all of it, but we go there and read some of it. This is Psalms 83. And it reads, we're going to start from verse 2. We're going to read from verse 2. It says, for lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and have consulted against thy hidden ones. And it reads, they have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. And we understand that's talking about us in our condition and lower state, not knowing that we the Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. And verse 6, gives the list of those nations. So they're all in cahoots, partaking of what Esau doing is keeping us down as a people. Now, let me get a precept to this, and where is Where's that? All right, let's get that in Lamentations chapter 2, verse 6. Let me see, 15. This is Lamentations chapter 2 and verse 15. All that pass by clap their hands at thee. They hiss and wag their head at the daughter of Jerusalem, saying, Is this the city that men call the perfection of beauty, the joy of the whole earth? Verse 16, all thine enemies have opened their mouth against thee. They hiss and gnash the teeth. They say, we have swallowed her up. Certainly this is the day that we look for. We have found, we have seen it. Now, this is the reason why, and I used to wonder this all the time, like, man, I live here in the, United States. I was born here. You try to go get a loan. You try to do better for yourself. You try to get an education. It's virtually impossible, to get those things to better yourself. And I used to wonder why it's so hard for us to get it. But then when these foreigners come over, these other nations, they come over here. The Hamites come over here. The Edomites come over here. The so-called East Indians, they come over here. The Africans come over here. They get education. They open up a business in our neighborhoods, selling us. The Vietnamese come over here. Chinese come over here. They get Chinese food restaurants in our neighborhoods selling you cat and dog, unlawful foods. And then they go live in a nice suburb somewhere, driving, 2 and 3 different cars, Lexuses, the trucks, big, beautiful homes. And here Jake is, we struggling. They get a tax-free break, visas. They get all these things and, have a good life. That's them, that we're reading about in Luke here, the 16th chapter, by licking the crumbs in verse 21. That's them, come licking the sores. Moreover, the dogs came and licked his sores. That's what's happening with Jake right now. These other nations get a chance to come over here and have an opportunity, and they love keeping us down. Although, nonetheless, they upset at Esau too, as well. But mainly they worried about, keeping us down as a people. That's why they look at us like that in an astonishment, us, blood touching blood, having an evil eye toward his brother and sister. The so-called black man and black woman, Israelite man, Israelite woman, having a high divorce rate, those things. They love that, that's they understand that as long as we're in that condition, they're going to stay on top. So these are again, the dogs can come in licking the sores of Jacob, which Lazarus in this chapter here. All right, I got another precept. And this is, I'm going to have to go to, and this is in First Maccabees chapter 2 and verse 10. And it reads, what nation had not had a part in her kingdom and gotten of her spoils? And that's what this is a precept of, is what nation haven't had a part in our captivity, and benefiting off of Jacob. These people know when they come over here to have a good life, they know they, gonna make a good life off the sweat and the backs of you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American, you Israelites. They know why when they come over here. That's why they so happy and they do look down on you, because they understand who you are. Verse 11, and it reads, all her ornaments are taken away of a free woman. She is become a bond slave. And that's talking about, us, Israel, the nation of Israel. We have become a bond slave. All right. Let's get another precept in Deuteronomy. Let's go back to this one here. Let's get this in Deuteronomy chapter 30 and verse 7. Because there's something, the table's going to turn also. And it reads, and the Lord Yahweh, thy power, will put all these curses upon thine enemies. So don't think that, they're getting away with these atrocities and these things, because there's going to be a role reversal, because we're getting close to root time for rulership, with all the things going on, with Jacob's trouble, the MOTB, in World War III brewing up. Our power is getting ready to come back and deliver us out of these conditions. And it reads, and the Lord Yahweh, thy power, will put all these curses upon thine enemies, and on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee. Everything we read in Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 15 on down, the same thing's going to happen to our enemies. And that account is also in Jeremiah. Let's get that real quick. Jeremiah chapter 30, verse 16. And it reads, therefore, all they that devour thee shall be devoured, and all thine adversaries, every one of them, shall go into captivity. And that's right, according to that's what's going into this parable here with the rich man and Lazarus. This is Jeremiah 30 and 16 taking place right here, where it says, therefore all they that devour thee, starting with Esau, Edom, and the other nations, every one of them shall go into captivity, and they that spoil thee shall be a spoil, and all they that prey upon thee will I give for a prey. And then verse 17, it reads, for I will restore health unto thee, and I will heal thee of thy wounds. See, it says of thy wounds, because those are the other nations, Esau and other nations. That's where Esau is giving us the crumbs, and other nations are licking the wounds off of Esau. Said Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah, because they called thee an outcast, saying, this is Zion, because we're people before a place, which means monument is Israel, but we understand we're people before his place, whom no man seeketh after, which is Jerusalem. All right. And let's get that other count in Isaiah. Let's get that in Isaiah 14. And we're just going to read the first 2 verses. And it reads, for the Lord would have mercy. For the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah will have mercy on Jacob, and will yet choose Israel, and set them on their own land, and the strangers, which are the Israelite foreigners, shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. And the people, which are you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, you Israelites, the chosen and elect, starting with the chosen and elect, the great multitude, and the people, 144,000 in the great multitude, which is the chosen and elect. And the people, verse 2, and the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them, which are our enemies, in the land of the Lord, for servants and handmaids, and they shall take them captives, who captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. So, this is Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah having mercy upon Jacob, as we read in which is that Malachi. Jacob have I loved, and Esau have I hated. But this is also including the other nations, starting with Esau. And let's get that other count in Revelation. Well, everybody know that in Revelation 13. And it reads 13 and 10, 9 and 10. If any man have an ear, let him hear. Verse 10, he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. And we know those saints are the Israelites. So, Esau, his time is coming, also in the other nations. And, destruction to Babylon the Great. Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. And with that, I want to give our praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rahah Kodash, double honors to the apostles and the elders of great millstone who have taught us this truth. Rule well, peace and salutations to the chosen and elect. Shalom.